Hi Math 3 students. So today we're going to go over Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to start with one special right triangle, which is the isosceles right triangle, also known as the 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, so first, I'm hoping Pythagorean theorem looks pretty darn familiar to you, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. The big thing you have to remember here is that C has to be your hypotenuse. And your hypotenuse is always directly across from the 90-degree angle. That's kind of the big takeaway from here. Don't forget that. You can only use Pythagorean theorem on right triangles. So you have to make sure you have this 90-degree angle there. And it doesn't matter which one you label A or B. These are called the legs. And because of the commutative property, right, it could be b squared plus a squared or a squared plus b squared. They mean the same thing. So it doesn't matter which one you label A and B. You just have to make sure you specify, which leg is which. So let's go ahead. We'll do a couple of examples. Hopefully this will be pretty familiar to you. So first thing I would definitely do is label what you're going to do A, B, and C. I would first identify your C value, and that's going to be, like I said, the one right across from your 90-degree angle. So here our C is x. And then again, like I said, the A and B don't really matter, so we'll do it this way. We'll say A equals 5 and B equals 14. So we'll plug that into the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to have 5 squared plus 14 squared equals x squared. All right, so this is going to give us 25 plus 196. And we get 221. Then you would go ahead and take the square root of both sides. And you should know how to break down radicals. In this case, you cannot break down root 221 at all, so we will stay with that. All right, and you know what actually we'll do is we'll leave them in radical form, and then we will also, I guess it's probably good to have them in decimal form too. So we'll say 14.8. The directions do say, though, to leave it in simplest radical form, so try and do that. So now let's go ahead and try example 2. So again, we should identify what our C is, and that's going to be 16. And then we'll make this A and we'll make this B. Like I said, those don't really matter. If you made one B, if you made this one B and this one A, you're going to get the same answer. So A is x and B is 11. So we'll say x squared plus 11 squared equals 16 squared. So I end up with 256 minus 121. 256 minus 121, and you get 135. So you would take the square root of both sides. And you can break down 135 into 9 and 15. So we could break that down. 9 times 15. Take out the root 9, which is 3, so you get 3 root 15. All right, and then I guess if you wanted the decimal equivalent of that, we would have 11.61. Actually, it'd be 62 because of rounding. All right, so let's go ahead, I guess, let's do one with radicals. I guess that'd probably be a good thing to do here. So let's go ahead and try this one. So again, you're going to want to make sure, actually, let me make this tinier. I'm running out of space. Sorry, guys. I guess I should have increased the space on these. So we can go ahead and take the square, or not square root, I don't know what I'm talking about. We have to find the hypotenuse, or the C. So we'll say our C is root 15. We'll make this A and we'll make this B. So we'll make A equal to x and we'll make B equal to 2 root 3. So we can go ahead and set this up. We get x squared plus 2 root 3 squared equals root 15 squared. And what you end up with is this ends up becoming, I'll do this over here, 2 root 3 squared. If you wanted to do this in your head, you would get 4 times, and then root 3 squared is 3. So you should get 12. All right, and then 15 squared is just, or root 15 squared is just 15. Minus 12, minus 12, you get x squared equals 3. X equals root 3. All right, so we just went over Pythagorean theorem. Now we're going to go over special right triangles. Oh, apparently I'm yawning. It is 6:30, so I am tired. All right, so we've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle here. All right, so this is a special right triangle, and it follows a special pattern. Basically, if you look here, you can see that each of the legs are going to be congruent. The legs are the guys that make up the 90-degree angle. So I always tell people the legs make an L, all right? And then the hypotenuse is the guy right across from the 90-degree angle, all right? Once you find the legs, you can find the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse is going to be your leg times root 2, all right? Now, if you're given the hypotenuse, you can get to the legs as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to write out what we need to do if you're given a leg, and what you need to do if you are given a hypotenuse. So we'll say if given a leg. So first off, you should know that both legs are congruent. So if you have one leg, you have the other leg. For example, if this guy is 8, this other guy would be 8, because they're congruent. So maybe say both legs are congruent. So, right, if you're given a leg, you know the other side from that. And then to find hypotenuse, multiply leg by root 2. So what that means is if this guy is 8, to find the hypotenuse, we're going to do 8 times root 2, which in this case is just 8 root 2. All right. So now let's talk about what we need to do if you are given a hypotenuse. So you're going to, so to find the leg, you're going to divide hypotenuse by root 2. I guess actually it should just be to find the legs, because they're congruent. So for example, if this, oop, that is my alarm. Let's say this is 5 root 2. If I wanted to find my hypotenuse, all I need to do is divide by root 2. So I would do 5 root 2 divided by root 2, which would give me 5. So my legs are 5 each. So hopefully this will help you out here. So let's go ahead and try some of these problems. Now we are going to do them kind of out of order. I apologize. The worksheet didn't really go in like starting with, easy ones to hard ones. I feel like they kind of started out with hard ones. So we're going to start off with problem number 3 here. So if you look, they gave you a leg. How do I know they gave me a leg? The legs are the guys that make up the 90-degree angle. All right, so if we look up here, if given a leg, we know both legs are congruent, okay? So that means that n is going to be equal to 3. And then I need to find my hypotenuse. How do I find my hypotenuse? It says to find hypotenuse, you're going to multiply your leg by root 2. Cool, my leg is 3. M is going to be equal to 3 root 2. Simple enough, right? Not terrible. Things do get more complicated with radicals, as we'll see, but not the worst. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll try number 4 now. So first off, you have to figure out what they gave you. Did they give you a leg or a hypotenuse? Well, these are my legs. And it seems that they are looking for both legs, so they gave me a hypotenuse, right? That's the guy across from the 90-degree angle. So it says, it should say if, not I. If given a hypotenuse, to find the legs, you divide hypotenuse by root 2. So let's go ahead and do that. 4 root 2 divided by root 2 gives us 4. And that's our legs. So y equals 4 and x equals 4. All right, very nice. Let's go ahead. We can do, let's do number 1 next. So did they give you a leg or a hypotenuse here? Is this a leg or a hypotenuse? So they gave us a leg here. So if we look at our notes, what do we have to do? If they gave us a leg, do we have to multiply by root 2 or divide by root 2? We have to multiply by root 2. So we're going to say root 6 divided by 3 times root 2. And we have to find that for the hypotenuse, right? So we'd get root 12 over 3. If you forgot how radicals work, when you multiply radicals, you multiply what's on the inside. Ooh, I meant to highlight that. So I would do 6 times 2. And then we have to simplify that radical. So we know that root 12 can be simplified into 4 times 3 over 3. And you can take the square root of 4, which is going to give you 2 root 3 over 3. All right. And that is going to be your hypotenuse. And then, of course, your leg is going to be the same thing as your other leg. So you would have root 6 over 3. Very nice. All right, let's go ahead and try number 5. So looking at number 5, did they give me a leg or a hypotenuse? So they gave me a hypotenuse. They gave me the side across from the 90-degree angle. So what do I have to do to find my leg? To find my leg, I'm going to divide my hypotenuse by root 2. So I'm going to do 7 divided by root 2. Now, if you remember working with radicals, we don't like to leave the radical in the denominator. So what we do is we're going to rationalize it. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by root 2 over root 2. We get 7 root 2 over root 4, which is going to end up becoming 7 root 2 over 2, which is going to be our legs here. All right, let's do one more together. I know these are tricky, but you guys are doing good. All right. So let's try number 8 here. So looking at number 8, did they give you a leg or did they give you a hypotenuse? They gave you a leg. So now, what would my other leg be equal to? My other leg should be equal to 2 root 6 because the legs are congruent. All right. Now, what do I have to do to find my hypotenuse? I'm going to multiply by root 2. So I'm going to do 2 root 6 times root 2, which, again, to remind you, when you multiply radicals, you multiply what's on the inside. I would get 2 root 12. And again, we could break down root 12 into 4 times 3. Take the square root of 4, we get 2. We get 4 root 3. And that would be our answer there.